Okay, today we're joined by Mr. James O. Where are you in California, James?
I am in Los Angeles, Orange County to be specific, but I'm from Los Angeles. You
Okay,
see
so you're a
my,
California
and like
guy.
my Dodgers hat.
There you go. Like to wear my Mets hat, but we'll be back. We'll be
That
back.
that's okay.
We'll be back. Actually, it'll be both New York teams.
What's that?
The Dodgers beat the Mets to face the Yankees.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
beat both
Yeah.
New York teams back. That's right. That's cool. Yeah, so as I was saying before, I first came across you in that Luke Kwan video, something about super mad spin 10,000. I said, whoa, let me check this out. What's going on
Yeah. Yeah.
here?
Yeah. We had fun. It was at my friend's studio, Five Iron Golf, and we're shooting some videos inside, and it's like, hey, we're done with everything. Let's have some fun. Let's hit some wedge shots and see like what kind of crazy numbers we can put up. So it was a good time.
I can imagine on that mat you can make that thing dance, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
off the mats, you can.
yeah. So you're based in California now? Is that
I am. I teach out of Hacienda Golf Club in La
okay?
Habra Heights. Yeah.
Cool.
So I've been here for a little over 3 years now, and it's been great. My players enjoy coming out here, flying out to LA, and playing some golf and working on their game, and and then I travel with them quite a bit. So
So you were in New York at one point, or just passing through?
I
That
mean, I go to New York quite a bit to teach.
okay.
I developed a relationship with one of the founders of Five Iron Golf, and I started hanging out there. And now Jared Solomon's one of my closest friends. So
Okay, cool. Yeah.
that's how that indoor facility thing came about, and it's a really cool place.
Yeah, yeah. They opened one. I'm from Long Island City. Right
Okay,
now,
yeah, they just opened one there.
exactly. So right now I'm in Dominican Republic, but I'm from Long Island City. So I mean, I
Okay.
can't. They opened one here and they called it Seven Iron Golf. so, so just to
So
show
my
what
mom my mom lives in Queens
okay and what
right now, so I go out and visit her quite a bit.
okay we're in Flushing or
No, in Maspeth.
yeah okay that's near me
Yeah,
sure I
yeah,
know
yeah,
Mass.
yeah.
You're right on the border of Brooklyn, yeah, sure. I
Right,
know
right,
Mass.
right.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to where you are now?
So yeah, I turned professional in 2001. I had a pretty solid junior amateur career. I went to UNLV for a year. I quit, turned professional. I've won on the nationwide tour in 2003. Played on the PGA Tour 2009, and I've had my ups and downs, but I really started my teaching career about 17, 18 years ago, in the middle of my playing career, just to kind of supplement my income. I was not doing so well on tour, and the grind was getting difficult, and I just needed a break. And I started teaching young junior golfers, uh, taking them out the golf course, kind of practicing with me, and I helped several players develop and get them really good in the course of this time. So as time went on, I started teaching more and playing less, and that's kind of how I am here today. So now, I've got several girls in the LPGA tour. I've got a player on the PGA tour. They're all playing pretty well, and yeah, that's the short version.
Okay, so so now you were playing anti, well, you weren't doing like the Robert Rock thing, Robert Rock, like all his colleague fellow players leveled his swing and said, "Hey, why don't you help me
Yes.
out?" He developed the whole cadre of guys. Is that kind of thing?
Right, right. No, so my story's a little different. He's really good at um the swing part. I mean he's a great player himself, but
Right.
I started to just play golf with my students and say, "Hey, this is how the game's played." And I'm not a very technical person by nature, so I don't teach that way. So if I had to write a book, I mean my book would be I think 400 chapters long because there's a variation to every little thing. But I really help a player develop into the player that they can be, but their individual self. And that's kind of what I teach, and that's my philosophy, and um, that's
So
what I'm kind of known for.
you're teaching them how to play.
Yes, yes, yes,
So we're like, you have the guys that teach golf swing, and you're
sure,
teaching golf. Now, let
yes,
me ask you a
yes.
quick question on that note. How did you personally? Let's talk about your amateur days. How did you start playing golf?
So when I picked up the club when I was 5, I followed my dad to the driving range, and he wanted to hit balls, and he wanted me to just sit there and watch. And it's the only sport that I would just do on my own. My father wanted me to become a soccer player, so I
Oh,
had the whole get up. I had
right.
shin guards, soccer ball, and he couldn't get me off the soccer ball, which means I was always sitting on the soccer ball, but not actually kicking it. So he said, "All right, soccer's out." He wanted me to become a soccer player, but when I got to the golf course with him, I would find my way around the golf course on my own as a 5-year old, and that's what I love to do. So that's how I got into the game.
Yeah. So you
We
you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I was about 5, 6 years old. That's when I started. We moved to New York for a few years, and we decided when I was about 9 years old to move back to California because New York's too cold in the wintertime, and it's not. And my dad said, if you're gonna if we're gonna like go all in on golf, we got to go year round.
Yeah.
So we moved to California, moved to Lakewood, California, right in front of the golf course I grew up on. They have a great short game area. Spent a lot of time there, and that's kind of how I got started in golf.
Now you went and competed at the amateur level. Is that correct?
I did. So I played. I won. I've won the Rolex Tournament Champions twice. I won a U.S. Junior. I won a U.S. Junior, a USG event. Um,
U.S.
I've
Junior. Who would your competition be in that particular U.S. Junior?
I beat Aaron Badley in the finals.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
so I
very
mean, we,
oh,
we had we had quite a field. We had Hunter Mahan in the field. We had quite a few good players.
yeah, a lot of good players. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
so yeah, Aaron Badley won the Australian Masters twice as an amateur. He was I thought he was a candidaate,
yes,
but unfortunately, time things circumstances would have it. So basically, you were left to your own devices, and you just figured out how to get around the golf course.
right, right. I mean, I've had my dad's coached me for a very long time, and I've had other coaches, but for my dad's been a big influence in my golf career,
Mm-hmm.
and he still is. I still consult him about things, and he gives me great advice. He's very very old school and simple. I got to go practice more, things like that.
Sometimes that's all it takes. I mean, if
Right.
sometimes I get myself, not just me, but I'm hitting the ball well, right? And all of a sudden, I'll fire up Instagram or YouTube, and there's some new whatever going on here, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I'm off to the races, and I'm shooting 100, and who the hell knows, where it's going to land, and sometimes it's just good enough, just leave well enough alone, right? I
Yeah.
guess sometimes that would be the way to go.
Yeah. You got to
Yeah,
got to go try it.
yeah. So you went to UNLV for a year. You decided to turn pro.
I did.
You won on the
And
nationwide tour.
yeah, so I didn't have any status at the time. I was playing some mini tour events and I was playing pretty well. So my dad and I decided, hey, let's go chase the nationwide tour. Let's go Monday qualify. I Monday qualified for my first event I ever applied to.
Tried, attempted,
Qualified,
right?
made the cut, and back then I think if you finish in the top 20, you get to play the next event. And I think I finished outside of top 20 by one or two shots my first event. Next event,
Okay.
next Monday, I believe it was Utah or Boise. I qualified again, and I was just outside that top 20 again by a shot or two. And the third event, we drove from I think Utah to, gosh, Southern California, Rancho Cucamonga. I'll never forget. Go to
Yeah.
that Monday qualifier. I mean, I get there that morning, tee off, and I didn't play very well. I think I shot one or two under in the Monday qualifier, which is for that to be a qualifying score is unheard of because usually Monday qualifier is 6, 7, 8, 9 under par. There's a five-way playoff for one spot, and I win that one spot, and I go on to win that event. So it was a fun 3 week stretch.
Cool. And so you gained status on the tour,
Yes.
or so you did you get a tour card, or did you Monday
Yep.
qualify there?
Yep.
You had it.
So they gave me I got an exemption for the rest of the year, which is next 8 events, and I think I made every cut. Played okay. Played in the tour championship. Played okay, and geez, I since then I think I had status on the nationwide tour, Corn Ferry Tour for over 10 years. And I never really got back to winning. It was just kind of I was always searching. So I have
Right.
all these mistakes that I've made. I can teach a lot of young players. I go, hey, these are the mistakes that I made. These are the mistakes that I chased. So let's not do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah,
that in and of itself is worth that's gold. You know what I mean? It's gold, especially if you're developing young players. Now, there was a when I was way back, I guess it was the '90s, and I was just learning golf and all this stuff, and it would get cold in New York. I would put on my USGA tapes, US Opens and stuff. And
right.
there was a young prodigy by the name of Ted O.
Yeah,
Qualified
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
I was 15 years old, and I'm like, wow, this kid's got is he related to you?
No, no, no. There's a O in the Korean in Korean is like Smith. There's a lot of Smiths in the United States. O is the same way. So it's a common last name, but he's local. He's from Torrance. He's from Southern California,
Yeah.
and he's got a daughter that's playing really great right now. That's committed to Stanford, which is unbelievable. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
think
he's
Lydia
also coaching.
I think Lydia Ko goes back and forth to Ted O.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think she drops Foley, goes to see Ted O, and she's awesome.
Yeah, no,
so
she's great.
so right now you're carrying like a junior academy or just juniors in general?
No, I actually teach quite a few amateur golfers, non-professionals. I've really developed this way of teaching golf where I can work with a high handicapper or I can work with the tour pro. I can speak both languages and I can bridge that gap. It's
Yeah.
just and and I like to keep things. If I don't care if I'm working with a tour professional or an amateur golfer, if a 5-year old can't understand it, then it's too complex.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. I try to keep it simple. And some people don't necessarily like that. They don't feel like they're getting their money's worth. But simplicity, so you're specific to what you're trying to do, trying to accomplish, is could be a very, in my opinion, very very important. It's almost underrated.
I think it's
There's
actually
so
good. I'm
there's
sorry.
so many researchers and golf coaches out there that I mean they're using such big language.
It can
You
be
know,
intimidating.
yeah. I mean, it sounds like they're writing a thesis, and it's like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's good if you are writing a thesis, but if you're trying to help a 12 handicapper or even a good college golfer, that's not, in my opinion, how you get there. There's better ways. So those are my beliefs.
Yeah, I think it's a big point of sales to sound above that. I think simplicity. I think communication is very important in that aspect, in that interchange between the student and the teacher. And a lot of times you may not feel like, or the other person may not understand what you're saying, and for the sake of not trying appearing to be stupid,
Yeah,
they might yes and walk away. And I
just
think,
agree, right?
yeah, just agree and not get the point across. And I think Einstein said it best. if you can't explain it to an idiot, you actually don't understand it. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah,
You
no,
can't.
I
Well,
completely agree.
it's a broad audience you're dealing with, right? So if you
Sure,
keep the link
sure, sure,
simple and everybody understands, or at least tries to understand what you're saying or gets the gist of it, you're there to help, right? But
sure,
if you start getting all biomechanical and technical with everybody, it's
sure,
there is, but there is an audience for that
sure.
type.
Absolutely. There is a place and time for that.
Yeah, there's
But to
something
the
that's
masses,
no, yeah,
even
yeah,
at the highest level, I've worked with some of the highest, some of the best golfers in the world, and in and not in an arrogant way. I feel like since I've played on tour, I can speak their language,
yes.
and that's not how we talk. We don't we don't we don't talk about our anterior, you know, like we don't use. That's not how we describe our swing, or that's not how we
No.
describe a shot or a feel.
It's just, yeah, I think there's a camp or there's been a movement towards that, and I'm not sure why that. It makes you sound intelligent, or
Sure, sure,
if you're accomplished, that's fine. If the more you learn, the better off
sure,
you are.
sure,
The idea
sure,
is to be able to communicate that knowledge to the person, to the lay
sure,
person,
sure. I mean,
because
I
we're
think
all, you know.
right, right. I think if there was something that most golfers, including professionals, if you kind of get off track, good golfers are always very in tune with what they're trying to do with their ball,
Right,
and amateur golfers have less of an idea what they want to do with their ball. They just want to hit it. It's like, well, that's not a great strategy. It's like you want to hit it down the left, you want to hit it down the right, you want to hit it high, you want to hit it low. You have to at least try to see if you can accomplish it. And when you feel like you can accomplish it, then you gain some confidence. You say, well, I actually tried to hit it high down the right side, and I did. So it's like,
right,
wow, okay, well, you actually did what you're trying to do. I don't care what your handicap level is. Uh, just trying to make contact's not a great strategy.
right, right.
So, if I were to go down a rabbit hole with amateur golfers, just the general for everybody, I would say find a professional, find a local professional who can really teach you and say, at my level, how high should I hit my 7 iron? At my level, should I try to keep hitting this 3 wood off the ground, or should I just get a 5 wood? I mean, I think the pro should tell the amateur. I mean,
Yeah,
you wouldn't believe how
absolutely.
many high handicappers I've worked with that are older with less speed. And I said, hey, Mr. Johnson, we need to get this 3 wood out of the bag. Like you will from now on indefinitely not ever hit a 3 wood. And some people take offense to that. And I said, well, I'm just helping you become a better golfer. That's going
Yeah,
to help your swing. You're not going to try to help the ball up. You're swinging at 82 miles per hour. It's just really hard to get a 15-degree club off the ground. We might as well go to a 20-degree, and you're going to be much happier that way.
yeah,
So I'm more that camp, saying, okay, what's the best way for the player I have right in front of me so they can just maximize what they have. They're
right,
not gonna they're not going to compress the ball like a 20 something year old ever. And that's the hard truth. So, sometimes when I see like a non-professional that doesn't practice every day and they're working on their pressure shift and seeing if they can produce more ground force, it's like, wow, that's so freaking crazy to me. Like,
right.
where are you getting these ideas? So,
I mean,
uh,
that's unfortunately we're in a day and age of information overload, right?
yes,
So you can get all kinds of info, whether it
sure.
applies to you or not. I was at the range one day, uh, Spring Rock up in New York, and I met a guy the day before, and he was just had got himself a new set of clubs, and just talking, right? So I go back the next day, and now he's got a tripod set up,
Yeah.
his YouTube playlist, right? And I was just casually observing him, and the video was doing one thing, he was doing something completely like not even close to
Sure.
what you were trying to
Sure.
accomplish.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
like I guess feel real thing. And if you were just to step up to one of the pros that have a whole slew of teaching pros, and maybe just schedule a lesson to get on the
Yeah.
right track, it might
Sure.
help. But
Yeah.
and to your point about the proper fitting, I always played driver, 2 iron, sand wedge all the way through, right? And hybrids came out. I couldn't figure out what to do with these things, right?
Oh,
I'm aging, I'm getting older and older and older. I'm trying to hit a 2 iron. Now, things getting about chest high, right? I'm
uh-huh.
playing, I'm playing wing football places, and I got 220 into the green, and I'm hitting this 2 iron. It's about this high. It's going about 170, and it's rolling another 345. I can't play this course like this, but I couldn't figure it out. I had never hit graphite. I never hit graphite shaft. So just to
Sure.
give you an idea of how old I am, and now as I get wiser, not wiser, but uh, I can't live without a hybrid. Fred
Right,
Couples has
right, right.
a 6 hybrid. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
guy's
Yeah, yeah.
at 120, 112, 115 miles an hour. Club at speed. He still says, why make it harder, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I was shocked to see Fred Couples talking about, like all of his height. He goes, the longest iron I hit is a 7 iron or something ridiculous.
It's
And
got
I'm thinking, Fred Couples can he can still move it.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't lack speed,
Yeah, he's long enough
and
to play. He's long enough to play Augusta from those new tees, right?
right, 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 right.
You know what I'm saying? So he's not. It's But yeah, to your point, there's a lot of if you can take the ego out of the equation, right,
Sure,
and
sure,
and keep it simple and communicate effectively with the student, then
sure.
yeah, I think you're on the. I think that's the right
Yeah,
track.
and I think even on the internet, as much as I'm on, social media and YouTube, I don't disagree with a lot of information. I agree with most of it. It's just must be applied to the right demographic, or you could sincerely hurt yourself.
Yes.
There's something I can apply something to everyone. I mean, I would listen to some younger coaches and say, did you see the new Golf Digest? Do you see like the crap that so and so wrote in there? I go, that's not crap. That's just not delivered to you. But just imagine this other player that might need this. It goes, well, it makes sense. I
Yeah.
think deciphering through the information and learning the application is that's the hard part.
Right.
That
Right.
that that's the more difficult part. I mean, it could be as simple as you see someone's golf swing and they're just all over the place, and someone really experienced could walk up and say, hey, you know what, strengthen your grip and just take it a little more inside to hit a few. And it just, well, what about this? What about that? It's like, yeah, 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 I get all that, but like, let's start with this, and this should fix about 10 other things.
Right.
And sometimes that simple advice is doesn't even seem real. Like, is this bullshit? Like,
Well,
really? Like,
why didn't I think of this? Right. You're
right? Yeah,
right.
till it works.
But that's the point I was trying to make earlier, that you can get caught up in so many things, right? Maybe what's going on with you is something simple, and then you fire up the World Wide Web, and who knows where you're going to wind up.
Right,
But that
right, right.
you're done, you got to work your way back. I mean, you got to, and I think that's what's it's creating a world of self-taught golfers, right? And I think that being self-taught, like these old school guys, Rubino, Hogan, and those guys, that's one thing. But picking up the game, like most of us did later on in life, after you're 20, 25 years old, right? Um, it's not like riding a bike, you know. It's
Right,
not like riding a bike, and trying to self-diagnose or have your own preconceived notions and things of this
right.
nature. It doesn't help. If somebody can just straighten out all these thoughts and get them organized,
Sure,
you know,
sure, sure.
but for the most part, that would probably be an effective way to to get the point
Right.
across.
Yeah, some of the students that really get a lot that's gotten a lot better in the last few years working with me are well, it's twofold. Extremely successful businessmen. So I've seen two types. I've seen the type that they know everything and what they say is right. And they don't care what you say. I don't even know why they show up to a lesson, but it is a
Right,
business for me. So
right, sure,
I'll take your money.
right,
And then there's the other type where at the end of the lesson they'll say, "Can you simplify this down to like three sentences?" And I gladly, if my lesson's longer than three simple sentences, I've given you way too much.
right.
And they're so stuck on just sticking to that, they get a lot better.
Yeah,
They say, "Hey, I drove all this way. My time's valuable. I might as well listen." That's what I tell them. I said, "You either should do this or you shouldn't. You might as well listen. You might as well stay on track. This is I want you to go through this like a curriculum. Like this is day one. Tomorrow's gonna be day two. These are the simple things we're gonna do. It's very simple, not very complex. And on that journey, you're gonna get a lot better. But there's no real how much better. I don't know. When you show up to school, in kindergarten, and you get to fifth grade, I don't know how much your IQ goes up. I don't know if it even changes. I don't know if there's a way to measure that, but you do graduate from kindergarten to first to second, second, third, so on and so forth. And if we thought about golf a little bit more that way, I think we would get a little bit better sooner, quicker, and have some confidence. Have a better process. That's just a different process. A lot of golfers, including professional golfers, is they'll come take a lesson. They're looking for a new coach. And this is a really good one. A lot of pros will come and they say, I'm shopping for a new coach. I said, well, what are you looking for? What do you want? And they don't know. And then I'll say, well, let me watch you play a few holes and let me give you an idea of what I think's going on. And if they agree, great. And if they don't, sometimes they say, no, you don't know what you're talking about, and then they leave, and that's fine. But if you don't know what you're looking for, it's really hard to find. Most guys on the PGA Tour level and like the top LPGA Tour level, when they go look for a coach, they know exactly what they're looking for. They can tell you in 5 minutes, like this is the guy or not, or they have analyzed my game correctly, or they haven't, or sometimes they're so analytical they don't analyze the golf game at all. They just the first few shots someone hits, the coach will get their iPhone out, start videotaping their swing, before even watching to ever play a golf tournament or hit a golf ball on the golf course, which is crazy to me.
yeah.
But I think those things are really important. Bridging that gap between what we want to, as a coach, what I think you should want and how to get there.
I think that managing expectations, right? So you just pointed that out correctly. That most amateurs aren't sure, right? But we live in a world of instant gratification, right?
Uh-huh.
So nobody wants to do the work, but everybody wants the results. You understand? So
Right, right, right,
it's really hard being you because
right, right,
your your success is really based on the ethic, the work ethic, and the interest of the person in front of you, right? You
right,
can
right,
demonstrate, you can lead them all the way to water, but will they drink, right? So
right, right, right,
it's hard, it's hard, and again, and you're going to get a broad cross section of people from all walks of life, and some are going to want to, you know, get a game where they can be competitive, right?
sure,
Some guys are going to show up. Hey, listen, I got a golf outing. I have never touched a golf club in my life. I don't want to be, I don't want to be. I don't want
right,
to look that. I want to get the ball airborne.
right, right,
And you'll have the like this lady Ola Hahn. She was like 88 years old, right? And her caddy would carry her into the range, and she went and bought. I sold her a set of like all Callaway titaniums and the whole
Uh
nine
huh.
yards.
Yep.
And she's gonna go take a lesson. Now she's wealthy beyond her, but I mean, how do you go to an hour, like an hour of that time, and make it worth her while? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the,
Right. Right.
the likelihood of her getting the ball off that mat is pretty slim. But you
Right.
know,
Right. Right. Right.
you're gonna get everything. You're gonna get all that. If you're out there long enough,
Sure.
you're gonna see a little bit of everything. And so it's not easy. And
Right.
dealing with
Right.
nature is just the way it is, right?
Sure. 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 Yeah, and I think everyone plays golf for a different reason.
Right.
There's professional golfers who do it for a living. They need to shoot a certain score to make X amount of dollars, and there's a certain level who are hobbyists who want to play better and they're into the game of golf. And some people they just want to spend time with their friends and family. Some people it's just exercise. They care less about the people and they just want to get out and walk a golf course or swing a few times, exercise. And I think from my standpoint as a coach, it's very important to understand and accommodate that need.
Right.
So I mean, I've had students in their mid to late 70s that I'd work with, and I'll never forget. This is when I was teaching at Lakewood a few years ago. I've had one of the gals I was working with, really nice lady. Her friends are telling her, because why do you take lessons from James? He's expensive and you're not even getting any better. I said, the first day I met her, I said, well, you want to hit the ball farther and you want to lower your handicap by 10 strokes. And I said, I don't want to lie to you. You're not going to achieve any of that. Will you be happier on the golf course working with me? Yes. I'm going to help you enjoy the game. But you're not going to hit the ball any far. I've seen you hit it. That's about as far as you're going to hit it. Uh, you you can't. You have a hard time chipping. You blade every ball across the green. You can't get out of a bunker. I'm going to help you with those two things, and that's going to instantly make you more just happier to be out there. Not as
Make it
frustrated.
more enjoyable, right? Just make the game more.
Will you? Yes, yes. Will your score change a lot? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't analyzed. I don't know how many bunkers you go in, but I'm not going down that road because it doesn't matter. So we used to take
Right.
these hour-long lessons, and we would spend 30 minutes working on the game, short game on the driving range, putting, and then we would spend 30 minutes talking. But that's what she wanted. That's the level of golfer I exceeded her expectations by doing that because I understood, or at least I think I understood that. And it's amazing how you equate a coach or a level of coach to what they think you should teach or who you can teach. I guys like Butch Harmon I look up to very much. He could teach uh, a 30 handicapper just as well as a +5. Doesn't matter. And anyone in the middle. He doesn't
Right.
care if you practice. He doesn't care if you don't. If you don't practice, it's like, well, then this is how I'm going to coach you. Should
Right.
you practice more? Yes, you probably won't, but it's an understanding, and
Right.
and understanding that it's quite a skill and a very important part of I think golf instruction, golf
I,
coaching.
you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's just a matter of understanding what's in front of you, right? What
Sure.
what their potential is, what their attitude is towards it, right? And look, I mean, over here, guys just go out and they love playing this social golf, which is basically scrambles and
Yep.
rum and beer and merengue, whatever going on. Fine, right? That's one
Right.
type of
Right.
golf, right?
Right.
That's not for me, but
Right.
everybody's got their whatever, and
Sure. Sure.
that's the part of it that has to come, congruent with what you're doing. Yeah, that has to kind of
Absolutely.
coincide. The person,
Absolutely.
no, if you have a person in front of you that's a serious golfer, then you'll know right away, right? You'll know the difference. And I really admire your honesty, your candor, because it's it's because where I was like I was managing a big range out there in New York, big chain of ranges, and New York is not California, so it's half a season. It's
Yep.
winterized. We had heater stalls, but very few people would. Obviously the Februarys and the Januarys, there was nobody there. So come the season, these guys are having to make their year out of that 6 months window. You
Right.
have six guys, six guys on tee boxes there, right? And they're just hustle. They're just hustling lessons.
Yeah.
That's it is what it is. So, you know what I mean? In your case, it seems like you have the uh, the flexibility to pick and choose how you want to go about things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've kind of developed a book to my portfolio is very broad, and it's better that way. It's good to have a couple young juniors that are good. It's good to have a couple pros. It's good to have a few single digit handicappers. It's good to have a few high handicappers. Good to have a few women, and it gives me perspectives. It helps me become a better teacher too, just by learning what are people thinking? Why are people thinking this way? Or what should they be thinking? And as you see themselves change and themselves gain confidence in a direction and an idea of, okay, when I get to the golf course, I know what I need to do. I mean, that does it for me. I mean, it's my goal in life for everyone to play better golf.
And that's
And
actually something
yeah,
very good to have that
it's
that sim.
because golf is so rewarding and stressful and depressing at the same time. It could be just one shot can bring you back, but you shot, you're a good player. You just shot 82, but you might hit one good shot on the 18th hole and you're just ecstatic over it. Or, you might be a really good player and you go out and you shoot 73 and you're so disappointed because you feel like you didn't hit a single good shot. So I think that being said, uh, just a little bit can bring so much joy. And there's not too many things like that I've experienced. But golf is definitely one of them where you hit one good shot. You could be a beginner, you hit one good shot, and the level of the dopamine effect is like so high. Uh, it there's not too many other things that way.
There is. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely an emotional game, and even at the highest levels, you know what I mean. Like you've watched some guys heartbreaking losses, and I was a guy like Brett Nortman, been successful on everything, right? Right? He's millionaire. He's this. He's that. And I could just imagine what it felt like to have, to lose all those majors. Right? You can say
Right, right, right.
millions of dollars on one end, but you're losing the Masters. You don't have a green jacket. You get invited to the dinner. You have to wear a white jacket. You can't buy. You can't buy that with money, can you? You can't
Yeah.
buy. You can have all the money in the world and you can't buy it. So
Right, right, right,
it is very
right.
very emotional. So and
Yeah.
I think your approach to it is absolutely perfect. Now, here's a question: at what point did you decide that you couldn't compete? That you weren't going to be able to compete on the
You
PG
know,
on the
in
tour or
in my
off?
brain, I still think I can because I'm crazy that way. It's just the player in me that still wants to compete. But when I just started practicing less and giving the excuse that I'm too busy teaching, I realized, okay, I just went 2 months and I didn't hit a single golf ball. I didn't play a single hole. I didn't have any desire to. It's what I knew. I said, okay, I'm going to take a break from playing professional golf and go all in on teaching for a while till I want to play again. And one day, 8 months later, I decided, hey, I want to play. Let's go play a few holes. So I got away from it a little bit, but that was the way I knew. Because in my mind, it's hard to get away. I still think I can do it. Which there's got to be, and I think it's good and bad, right? Because you almost don't
Yeah.
know when to quit. But if you're gonna play good golf, at the very least, you got to believe you can do it.
You know
There's
what's good about that is that I'm sorry to interrupt you, James, but what's good about that is that there's always a Champions Tour, right? So somewhere down the line, when you hit my age or younger, you can decide, hey, listen, let's give it another shot. In a different position in life. You know what I
right.
mean? That's the. I'm going to be talking to a couple of guys from they're going for the Champions Tour. Um, again, guy like Brad Elder, for example, he's all
Oh
American.
yeah,
He's turning 50, so these guys are going to, they're going to try to realize their potential again, and you have a second
sure.
chance, right? So,
Yeah,
do you still play events
that
with these pro club pros or assistant events or any of those things?
no, I don't.
You don't
I'm
play any
not
of those?
part of the PGA program,
Okay, you were
but
playing professional.
our head pro at our club, Kyle Mendoza, he's a very, very accomplished golfer. He's played in the PGA Championship probably I think two or three times. He's played in multiple PGA Tour events. Just because he qualifies through the section. He's an excellent
Okay,
player, and I've been going out to play with him. We have a great time.
good.
We have a great time. I think it's fun for me to go play golf with someone where I play 9 holes and I hit one good shot that's really good, and someone can recognize it. Because when you're playing with high handicappers, they either they all look good to them, all the shots look good to them, or none of it's impressive because they just don't know.
Right,
But when I get out with my tour players and play golf with a Kyle Mendoza, I think we I like that part. I love the challenge. We still challenge each other because hey, hit this shot. Let's go close to the pin from here, and we have a great time doing that. So that's how I grew up playing golf. That's how I learned as a kid, and I've had the opportunity to play with some great players as a young junior and have this exact uh, back and forth experience.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
somebody. Yeah, recognizing that you hit a good shot, and I'm in Dominican Republic, right? So I'm playing with a lot of guys. So here's the difference. So you play golf in the U.S. and everybody's got like a golf tradition or an education of some sort, or most guys here are just starting out. The game is new, so
yeah.
most guys get a tip from the caddy. The caddy gives them some swing tips or this kind of stuff. But I hit this knockdown shot, and I was like, "Wow, man, what a great shot!" They don't give, they don't,
I know what you mean.
wait for applause, and like they have
Yeah,
no idea what's going
yeah.
on.
Right, right, right.
The wind, stiff, nobody saw it but me.
No, no one said good shot.
Bad, bad, bad. So you're based in California. You're out there, and I forgot the Merced. You said
No,
we
Hacienda Golf Club.
Hacienda Golf Club. Okay, so
Hacienda in Orange County.
great. Um, we want to. I'm going to link all your socials and stuff, right?
Okay,
And that way, if anybody wants to get a hold of you out in West, are you coming? Do
great.
you come out at all, or you got
I'm
your
sorry.
little? Do you come out East Coast at all anymore?
Yeah, quite a bit. I go to
Okay.
New York quite a bit. Yeah, we should
How,
link up there. That'd be fun.
really? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Masters shirt, right?
Oh,
That's
I saw
John,
that.
John Ortega. if, if Jake Knapp makes it in, I'm in, right? Sorry. So, James, it's been a pleasure. You have anything you want to add?
No, thanks for having me on. Let's do this again. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll check in
Yeah,
again. I've good talking to you. And, if
great.
you have anything you want to bring out, John is going to be using his studio. So maybe you guys want to do some kind of stuff on inside the studio or at
That'd
your
be
golf.
fun. Yeah,
You could provide it to me. I'll be more than happy to air it for you. I'll help you out any way I can.
sounds
Okay.
good. Thanks, Ralph.
Thank you.
All right, it was
Pleasure.
great.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, we'll see you.
Hold on.